Yeah, so the screen is visible to everybody? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so we'll be starting the important part, the ratio proportion. So before that, there is a significant amount of basics to be covered. So we'll take close to 20 minutes for that part. And sorry for today's delay, guys. It was a one-off thing. It won't happen every day. But yeah, I'll try to be on time as possible. So what we'll do is for this part, just a second. Okay, is the screen visible, guys?
Yes, Kesari.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. So first we'll discuss a very important part of it, the ratio proportion. And one second, where did this go? Yeah. Hold on, guys, this pen has been stuck. One second. Yeah. So it looks quite a small part in that regards. If I would say it's a easy chapter compared to equations, the questions won't be that difficult and that challenging. But yeah, the major part would be that wherever you try to solve the questions, you will have quite a good number of frameworks to remember to solve these questions. So the first one and important, first we'll start with the basics part. So guys, what is ratio according to you guys? I just want to know the brief understanding. What is ratios?
Distribution.
Distribution. Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Fraction.
Fraction. So basically, if I ask what is an apple, you will see me an apple, it keeps the doctor away. Is that the definition of an apple?
No.
Yeah. So
Relation between two quantities.
relation between two quantities. Okay, interesting. Anybody else?
Part of a component in a mixture.
Part of a component and mixture. Okay.
The
Distribution
less
of a particular item between people or whatever.
Distribution of particular item. Okay. Anybody else? One final answer.
Yeah, so less quantity divided by the complete quantity.
Less quantity. Okay.
Not the complete quantity, by the complete quantity.
Okay. I see you have great researchers here already present. I'm getting quite interesting definitions. I'm myself wondering, have I studied mathematics or not? See, guys, I would see, yeah, whatever you said is correct partially in every way, but ratio I would say is in simple terms. Have you seen of this symbol?
Percentage.
Yes,
Percentage.
percentage. What is percentage?
Per
Something
per
by 100.
100.
Per 100. Okay. So, like somebody was mentioning, some part of something is ratio, and when that some part of something, so that initial something is 100, it becomes a percentage, and when it is not 100, you could say its ideal case is ratio. in a simple definition, if I had to say in a layman language. This part is clear?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So in the ratio part, there would be quite important things which you'll have to learn as well. And that basics would be this 1/2, 1/3, and these are families 1/4, 1/5, 1/6 comes in this family. Then we have 1/7, 1/8 is in this family. 1/9 is in this family. 1/10 is this. 1/11 is again a new family, and so on. So at least this is the important ones which might help you a lot in remembering. Even if you don't, yeah, this can be one and different one. But yeah, the families play an important role when solving any question or so. So can you tell me the value? What is 1/2 equal to? In terms of percentages, I want answer in percentages.
50%.
50%.
50. Great. What is 1/3?
33.33.
Okay, 33.3%. What is 1/4?
25.
25.
25. 1/5?
20.
20.
20.
1/6?
33.3.
1/6, not 1/3.
15 point.
10.5.
33.33 is half.
Yeah, so what is it? I know it is 33.3 is half.
16.7. 667.
Yeah, yes. 1/7? Anybody?
14.2.
14 point some 20.
1/8?
12.5.
12.5.
Yeah.
11.1.
9. 10. 9.9.
These would be some of the important things that if you remember can help you significantly. I mean, yeah, very significantly. So these are the basics one. It's like if you can remember the tables up to 1 to 10, then you can easily kind of using some tricks construct the table of anything. So again, these are like the basics. If you can remember till this, you can go to some odd numbers like 13, sorry, prime numbers like 1/13, 1/17, but that's generally not be expected of you. If it comes in CAT, it might be a one-off question that might come in like say 10 years or so, but that much is right now in the format which CAT is asking, it won't be expected of you. So yeah, but still learning this basics would be quite important. And like I said, I had segregated here in a different way. So yeah, in this manner, if you learn them, it will be helpful because see 1/2, 1/2 half, 1/4. Then again you half it, you have 1/8. Similarly, it is 1/2 is 50%, half of it is 25. Then again half of it will be 12.5. Again you go 1/16, it will become 6.25%. So you can carry on the cycle. Same goes 1/3. It is 33.33 percentage. You go 1/6, it is half of it. Then again 1/9 won't be half of it. It will be 1/3 of 1/3. But for simplicity terms, you can keep it as a separate one. It's see, these two are like I would say opposite twins. Like you might have twin brothers or sisters or cousin brothers or sisters who generally keep on fighting. These two are basically, I would say, brothers and sisters in terms of mathematics. 1/9 is 11.11% and 1/11 is 9.99%. Sorry, 9.9%. This part is clear, guys?
Yes.
Have you guys noted it down?
Yes.
Yeah. So this will be very important. Do note it down. Okay. All right. Moving forward, in this part of ratio and proportion, I will show you a very important trick in ratios, and then moving on to proportion. Like we had, one of you guys had said that a fraction is a ratio. Yes, fraction is a method in which we express a ratio. So as somebody had said, this 2 by 3, is it a fraction?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 by 3 is a fraction. If I convert it into percentages, how much will it be?
66.
This is basically double of 1 by 3, right?
Yes.
And 1 by 3 we had already seen 33.333%. So yeah, this will be double. Now, coming to the next important part, that would be proportion. What is proportion according to you guys? What do you think so? We have seen ratio. You said fraction is a way in which you can express a ratio. True. What is a proportion?
The division of the parts of a total quantity.
Partially correct, I would say. Yeah, you're not wrong, but not fully correct. You're correct
Like
in a way.
some part of it, like two proportions are there.
Okay. You guys are telling almost correct. You guys are just missing something important.
Equal
Anybody else wants
parts.
to try? Final?
Equal
Yeah.
parts is proportion.
Sorry.
Equal parts.
Okay. Yes. Again, almost there. Almost there. It's like if you collectively sum up all the answers, you will get the actual answer. Nobody's wrong. Everybody has given a correct answer. It's partially correct, I would say.
The sum of the
Alright.
proportions is equal to the total quantity.
The
Sum of the proportions.
no. I did not mean literally sum up the parts of the answer. You literally summed up everybody's part and then answer. No, not that part. Not the sum. See, when you find a proportion of a part, all you guys were saying is finding some parts of it and everything. Yeah, that is correct. If I have to describe it in a simple mathematical equation, that would be if I equate two ratios, one ratio using an unknown quantity or some quantity which I want to calculate, that would be proportion of it. So if I say A by B is equal to C by D, then, and if this is known quantity and there's something unknown here, what I wish to say is A by B, the proportion of A by B and C by D is same because they are related in an exact same proportion. Like fraction was an important way to depict a ratio. Here the equal to sign was very important in depicting a proportion. I know it might sound a bit difficult or different to understand, but is it clear, guys? Or do you want me to explain again? Guys?
Can you repeat, please? It's not
Okay.
clear.
Okay. I'll explain it in a simple one. So suppose there's a fraction 6 by 12. And you want to find 1/3, or you want something if I have on similar lines, but it should be based out of 36, not 12. Here the base is 12. What I want is, I want some part of my 36 that is almost equally related to how 6 is related to 12. So like you guys were saying, I have to divide my parts according to a certain quantity. So I'm dividing 36 according to this certain quantity. And what I get is will be the answer. This part is clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Okay. Great. So this becomes your proportion. When we'll solve the sums, it will become much more interesting and you will get a clearer picture of it. But yeah, sometimes studying theory in maths becomes it. But I thought for a change, let's start with theory first initially so that you guys would be comfortable while solving the problems. You won't have an issue like some of you guys were facing yesterday. Now to the third part, that is variation. What is variation, guys?
Suppose we have x and y,
Okay.
and it varies directly or indirectly.
Okay. And what
Means
is directly or indirectly?
in case of direct variation, suppose if I bought 4 things at a cost of rupees 8, so means each cost rupees 2, and if I say what is the cost of 10, then it will be 20. Direct variation means
Okay.
increasing on if there is increase in one factor, then simultaneously second one also increase.
Okay.
And in case of indirect, we can take the example of speed and time. If speed increases, then time will decrease, and if we decrease our speed, then time will increase.
So was it inverse proportion?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody who wants to add something?
Distance from the origin is variation.
Distance from the origin.
I mean, let's take this one fire on one particular value. What is the
Okay.
distance and what is the distance from that value? We call it as a variation. Basically, the difference is called variation, I believe.
Change with respect to a fixed value is called as variation.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. And okay. Yeah. Fine. Great. See, so as you guys were telling, it was correct. Variation is of two types, direct and indirect. So basically, the important part here is variation, and the key thing to note is vary. What does vary mean? Vary means if something changes with respect to another thing, it might be in two directions, increasing direction or decreasing direction, up and down. The value might either increase or decrease based on the change on which it is relying upon. So like we had said, suppose you have a work to do, and if you increase the productivity of the labels, what you will take is less number of time. So time and productivity is opposite. If you increase your productivity, you will take less time to finish the work, provided the work is constant. In that regards, it becomes indirect, but same goes for as we had say, if we increase the number of workers, if we increase the number of workers, productivity will increase. So productivity and workers are directly related to each other, because as you increase one, the other also increases. So this will be how variation is defined. This part is clear, guys, everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Any doubts? Okay, great. I see you guys have been accustomed to the CC part. That is great. Okay, now one final trick before moving forward, the proportion part, that would be uh, how a proportion is expressed in terms of equation. You saw how ratio is expressed in terms of fraction, how variation is, how proportion is expressed in terms of equal to sign. Now we'll see how variation is expressed in terms of equation. So when I say A and B, now if A varies directly in respect to B, we respected mathematical notation using this proportionality sign. Now this proportionality is not the equal to sign. To convert it into an equal to sign, we place a mathematical constant. When A and B are inversely related to each other, we just do it 1 by B. The sign does not change. We don't have an inverse proportionality sign. What we do is, in representation, we represent it as 1 by B, not as B. And yet again, if we want an equal to sign, we will do it here. Now, mind you, this is K1, K2, in no regards K1 and K2 will be same. It will depend on the scenario and how much data you have on whatever you have. This part is clear, guys, in variation, because this will be quite an important part. Guys, I require a response from everybody. I see very few responses. Okay, great. That's good to see. Thank you. Now we'll see an important trick that we'll be using in one of the first two sums as well. And that would be, let's say, suppose you are given a very important question. I mean, or better what you do is, we'll just start with the question itself. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, so this would be it. Your trick will come in the second question, don't worry. Till then, let's see, can you solve the first question? You have 1 minute to solve it. It's the easiest question of the day and you won't find a better one. Till now, one answer, two answers, okay. Three answers. Good. It's great that you are not getting stuck at an easy question. All right. So there's nothing much you can do about it. I mean, what you can either do is, there are two approaches, and you might have done both of them in school. You divide the numerator and denominator both by b and replace the value of a by b by 3 by 7. Or what you do is, you replace the a with 3 and the value of b with 7, and you can directly get the answer. I mean, these two might be the only methods you might have done. Yeah, guys, or is there any other method?
Can we substitute a is equal to 3 and b is equal to 7?
Why not?
How? Because we need to have a coefficient, right, for getting the values. Because a by b is 3 by 7, right?
Yeah. So I placed the coefficient as 1. What's the problem with that?
Okay, what I followed was, I followed a by b is equal to 3 by 7 and I deduced a value from it, like a is equal to 3b by 7, something like that. And I've substituted a value in the equation.
That would be unnecessarily complicating the things. I mean, you are not mathematically wrong, you are right.
If a by b is 3 by 7, isn't a is equal to 3 and b is equal to 7? That's what we have to do.
Yeah, that's what I said. You can do it by two methods. You can.
But we need a coefficient for that, no? Like, we
So
can't
assume
just
the
pick
coefficient
one.
1. What is the problem in that? I said A is equal to K by B in variation terms. I mean, variation is not important here. The thing is, why can't I take A as 3 and B as 7? What is the problem here? I mean, you can take A as 6, B as 14, there's no issue. But that will unnecessarily create bigger numbers to
Yeah.
deal with.
Yeah. The answer will be same.
Yeah,
for the
you'll
third
get the
one.
same
Oh.
answer because I'm not asking you just 4A plus 3, 4A plus 5B. I am asking you ratio of it. So naturally, whatever constant you take, that will be there in the numerator, that will be there in the denominator, it will get cancelled.
Correct. So we can take that as common.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yes.
If I had asked A by B is 3 by 7, what is the value of 4A plus 5B? That's it. Then you cannot answer the question. Because A and B can take any value and still satisfy 3 by 7.
Yeah.
But that is not being asked here. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now coming to this part, okay guys, I don't want you to solve it, but how much time do you think solving such a question might take time?
1.5 minutes.
Maximum 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. Who said 30 seconds? Sorry, I missed you.
Aniket.
Okay. What will you use, Aniket?
What I'll do is,
Okay, what I'll do is, Aniket, I'll give you 30 seconds exactly. Your time starts now.
it's B.
It's B. All right. Okay, great. You solved it in 27 seconds. Great, great. And what method did you use?
What I did was for A ratio B and firstly for A ratio B and B ratio C, we'll see the ratio of B. That in the first one it's 3 and in the second one it's 4.
Okay.
So we need to make it like similar.
Yeah.
So for that we'll multiply
Yeah,
the
I got
first
you.
one.
Got you. I got you. Your approach is correct. Your approach is correct. And I can see your mental calculation part is quite fast, so that is good. See guys, there is a method which will work for everybody of you, even if your mental calculation is not that fast, and that would be C. Whenever you're given such ratios, just express it in the format in which I am expressing. Now, how many letters are given? A, B, B, C, C, D. That's it. So total I have 4 letters. Now express it in the method I am expressing it. Now just watch carefully. A by B is 2 by 3. B by C is 4 by 3. Express it below. Don't express it there itself. C by D is 2 by 3. Now which ones are not been given, just put a dash in there. Now what you do is, whatever is the adjoining value, just replace it with the blanks. Now here it was 3, so I replaced it by 3. Here it is 3 adjoining, so 3. Here it is 4, so 4. Here it is 2, so I fill all of them 2. This part is clear what I did. I mean, I can't explain
Yes.
the logic to you right now, but what I did is that part clear.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now just multiply all the numbers. So in A column, what do we get? 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16, 3 4s are 12, 24, 3 3s are 9, 18, and D part 27. Are we getting it?
Yes.
So is the answer same as B option? Everybody? Any doubts in the method? Guys, I need a response.
No.
Yeah, it is easy. It's a lot easier than mine.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically the same thing that what you are doing. The only thing is you might have used something which is manual than this. This is like the simplified version of whatever you did.
Yeah.
It's basically the same. Yeah, but great. If you can solve it, you have a good calculation power. It's great. It always comes in handy. Okay, then we'll move with the next question. See, this method comes in handy only when you have a typical such type of framework set. This method won't work in some any other problem wherein anything apart from such thing is asked. That's why I had not discussed it earlier in the theory, because this is not a theory. It's a one-off method. But yeah, it does come in handy whenever you have such a question.
Is one doubt?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if, for example, it's given A is to B, B is to C, C is to D. Now you're saying that if it's given B is to D in between, so we cannot apply this method.
No, you can apply the method.
Okay. And then if it says for here, for now it's saying A is to B is to C is to D.
Yeah.
If it jumbles up these alphabets itself, in that case, what are we supposed to do?
What you try to do is see how did I arrange the data?
First
A is to B first, then
yeah.
B is to C, then C is to D, right?
Yeah.
So try to arrange it in a step-by-step format, like you could see. 1 second, just me activate my pen. You can see the pattern.
Yeah.
Try to arrange it in this data, because this method has been developed around getting such a pattern. If it doesn't work, yeah, you will have to do it manually. You can do it through this, but the chances of getting a mistake might be higher. That's it.
Yeah, when it's A ratio B, let's take it as 2:3, and B ratio D, it's given B ratio D.
Okay.
So it's 4:3, that's same thing.
Yeah.
But then what will be the correspondent like number in the C one, in the second
all
line?
right. I'll tell you one thing. See. I'll solve your doubt. There's nothing in that. Okay, so A by B is given 2/3, right?
Yeah.
Now you are telling instead of B is to C, B is to D is given.
Yeah.
And C is to D is also given, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is you write D here and you write C here. Now what you say is B is to D given is 4/3, right?
Yeah.
Now I will write B is to D 4/3. And I also have C is to D.
Yeah.
Which is 2/3.
Yeah.
So right, C is to D 2/3. What's the issue?
Okay, got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but Kesari, if the question is again the same, A is to B is to C is to D, so can we rearrange these rows, finals, outputs to get the answer, in the sense columns?
You might face an issue in that regards. If you change the numbers in that way, you will face an issue. Because this method, like I said, this method has very limited usability.
Okay.
If you play with that, no, it won't give you that.
Okay.
What I will do is, see, I will post a method in wherever, even if you change the order, because the thing is, I did not find a question like this anywhere. I will build make a custom question myself in that regard, and I will post it for you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So this part is clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now the numbers we were discussing in the theory. So this is it. And you have 30 seconds for the answer. Answer me privately. Ashwik, read the answer. Read the question carefully. There are many tricks you can solve for this question. Many. I mean, there's clearly 2, 3, depending on what you're comfortable with. No, Prerit, your answer is not correct, I'm afraid. Yeah, I can see most of you are getting the right, even though it is taking a bit more time, but it's okay. We'll do it by quite a few approaches. Yeah. Sudeep, what you're telling me is not even among the options. Are you trying to create a fifth option? Is that what it is? Rest of you are getting it correct. Great. Yeah. Okay, so Aniket, can you tell me what did you do?
I just did like it's 32%.
Yeah.
So like take it as 30%.
Okay.
So 1024, 10% is 102.4.
Oh, you went to that approach. Okay, quite
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Like 102.4 is 10%. So 30% will be almost.
Got you.
Yeah.
Prerit, what did you do?
The standard approach. 32%
And what is that?
of x. 32% into x equal to 256.
Okay. Acha. Okay. All right. Priya, what did you do?
The same approach.
Okay.
30% of
Anybody who did not use the standard approach?
I simply divide 256 by 32 and multiply by 100.
Okay, that's a good way.
I
All right.
used elimination, like for D 50% is 200, so I've eliminated that. And for all the options, I tried to extract 32%, and that's how I compared.
Okay, I can see, guys, your creativity is good, but it's like everybody's trying to be MS Dhoni here. You require last run of the single ball, and everybody's trying to hit it out of the park. I mean, it's a good thing, but try to reserve that sixer for something else. See, 32% of what number is 256? Now, like somebody has said, I took 32 ka 30. Why not take 32 ka 33? What is basically 33? It's kind of 1/3 of a number. So
it's a bit easy for, like, if I take 10% of 102, then it's giving me 300.
Okay.
And for 64, it will almost give me 180 something.
Okay.
And for 400, it will give me 120. So the closest one is that 81. That 80 is giving me 240 for the 30.
You haven't even heard my method yet.
Yeah.
Okay. See, 32% is quite closer to 33%. And what is 33%? You can say that's almost like 1/3.
Yes.
So the answer would be almost close to 256 into 3.
Yes.
You have only one option. You don't even need to calculate it. The options are too far. Somebody was saying I eliminated the options. You don't even need to eliminate the option. You have just one option. If I had an option like 790, 770, 780, yeah, then eliminating the options and all your creativity can come out. It's great. But like I said, you just need one run of the single ball and you're trying to hit it for a 6. It's okay that you're getting a good creativity, but see, like I said, you need to know what to use where. I'm glad to know that you are getting various different methods and it's great. But then knowing it when to apply is the crucial part. Got this part clear?
Yes.
Okay. One more important thing, like suppose this was a subjective question, theta question. in that regards, what you could have approached uses like some of you were stating 32% of x is 256. So 32 by 100 into x is 256. You did it by the standard process. That is great. What if I had given here was let's say 31.11%. Calculate 31.11% of a number is 256. Find that number. How will you calculate now? Now is it difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. That's where okay. So what I would request you guys is please open up what the note wherein you had written everything from 1 by 2, 1 by 3 till 1 by 11. Okay. Now, can I break this 31.11% into 20% plus this?
Yes, yes.
What is 20%?
1 by 5,
1 by 5. What is 11.11?
1 by 9.
Fine.
That's it. So this is x by 5. This is x by 9. Can you guys calculate it now? What is x? I mean, instead of going for the standard approach here, will this method give you, I mean, yeah, the answer is not your good looking number. I agree with that part. But is the method clear?
Yes.
Okay. So let me give you something, one more important thing in same regards. Calculate 34.28% of 700. Give me the answer privately. Quick, 30 seconds.
It's 34.28 of a number. Is 700.
34.28% of 700.
Okay.
This is easy one. I still haven't received an answer. Was it that tough? Ashwik, 100% of 700 is 700. And you are telling me 34% of 700 would be greater than 700. Yes, Anshula, you're
Okay,
correct.
sorry, I was thinking 34% of is okay.
No. 34.28% of 700. No, Sudeep, I'm afraid your answer, you somewhere again miscalculated it. Aniket, are you using a calculator, Aniket?
No.
I think you are using a calculator given your answer.
No, I didn't. I used the
So
pen and paper.
what you did is you just multiplied it, right? 34.28 into 7.
Into 7, yeah.
Okay. Sohail did the same thing. Manidip, I can see what you've given me. This is not how a cat will expect an answer out of you. Guys, last 10 seconds. We have a lot to cover today. Priya, again, you did the same thing. I know it's quite enticing and quite irresistible to just multiply the numbers, but trust me, if you have something different, you will still save time by the method which I discussed. Your method is not wrong. It will give you the answer. It will just take some extra seconds in multiplying those parts. Yeah, Aditya, your answer is correct, but you took way too much time. See guys, what is 34.28%? It's 20% plus 14.28%.
X by 5 plus X by 7.
Yes. And your X is 700.
240.
So 140 plus 100 is 240. That's it. Now tell me, if you just remember it till 1 by 11, everything, you don't even have to multiply. Multiplying two numbers, 7 8s are 56 and everything you will do, that will take more time than just dividing by two numbers. So guys, this part is clear?
Can you repeat?
Okay, 34.28% is what? 20% plus 14.28%.
Yes.
Yeah. So 20% of 700 would be 1 by 5.
Yes, 1 by.
That is 140.
Yes.
And 14.28% is 1 by 7.
Yes. 1 by
That is
7.
100.
Yes. Plus 100.
So yeah, you are getting 140 plus 100. What is the answer?
240.
Yeah. So you don't need to multiply necessarily. I've given you such a number that it will become easy to calculate it.
I have one silly doubt. I mean,
Yeah, sure. No doubt is silly.
yeah, actually, I was trying to, I mean, via calculator, I was doing this.
Uh-huh.
So I tried doing 700 into 0.3428.
And you will get 239.96.
Correct. But what my doubt is, if this is a theta question, then which answer will be acceptable? Is it 240 or this one?
See, first of all, in the theta, it might be mentioned round off your answer to the nearest integer.
Okay.
If it is not mentioned, see, because you get a calculator in CAT itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what method I'm teaching you, this basically, you did not have a calculator 4 to 5 years before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But why do you think CAT has introduced calculator?
Because of huge numbers.
No.
Calculations.
Wasting time.
Waste of time.
Oh.
CAT has introduced it so that you can waste more time. See, what is it? If I give you 10 hours to do a task which can be done in 3 hours, trust me, for the first 3-4 hours, you will not attempt to do that task. What you will try to do is, okay, I have something very important. I have a robot at hand or something. I will give it to somebody. I won't attempt it. But if I give you exact very less amount of time and you don't have the luxury or some other things, you will straight away find some or the easy shortcut. Now these shortcuts are your friends in that way. Because you see, theta questions, the main important part of theta questions, main motive of theta questions for CAT to ask is not any simple concept like this. They basically want is you cannot just attempt the CAT paper by fluke. Like there are some people who are not very serious aspirants, but on any good day, they might get a good 80-90 percentile by just clicking any options which by luck they can get it right. The important part of CAT was to reduce such number of aspirants. That's it. And that's why they introduced calculator, so that they waste time, and they introduced theta so that they are forced to use calculator. And generally speaking, in CAT questions, you will be specified if you have to give the exact numerical answer, or you can give it in decimals. If it is asked in decimals, what will is it? See, let me explain you a scenario. There is a theta question given. So whatever I have given you the question, 34.28% of 700, this will be your final step of that question. You will have 6 to 7 steps that might require some knowledge of numbers, some requires of ratio proportion, some knowledge of quadratic equation, or some other thing. Are you getting me? So your theta question won't be that easy in this regards. But let's say suppose you have a DILR question And your DLR questions, some of the questions might be very straightforward like this, 34.28% of 700, but it will be asked in an indirect way, not in a direct way. So what having a 240 in your mind and 239.96 is 239.96, you will still use your mouse to use the calculator. It's not a touchscreen calculator. It's a calculator you use using your mouse. Now what it does is it wastes your time. Having a 240 directly ready is help you eliminate the options and you can quickly mark the answer and move forward. Are you getting the point of me discussing these methods?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. The important point is not to get you to the direct answer, but to get you to the direct option, the option which is right. I asked you as a theta question just to test you as to how fast can you attempt it if options are not given. Okay, we'll move forward with this part. Yeah. So here we come to back age-old long-term memory enemy, the problems on ages. Everybody remember the tactic I had discussed? What we have to do in questions of ages?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be your secret method, secret weapon, I would say, if you get stuck. Since I discussed the concept of age, I won't solve it first. You guys have to solve it, and 2 minutes for it. And answers in private, please. One more minute, guys. Thirty seconds more, guys. No, Sohail, your answer is not right. I mean, you can solve this question even without using the trick I have given you. This is that easy. Today's questions are easy, guys. They won't even cross the moderate boundary like yesterday. I mean, day before yesterday. All right, guys, time's up. So, since nobody has given me an answer, I guess I will be forced to solve it. Now, Vipin and Kishore. So, we'll take Vipin, Kishore. Vipin's present age is twice the age of Kishore 1 year ago. So 1 year ago, if Kishore was X, what will be Vipin's age? Vipin's age would become, since it was 1 year ago, 2 times. So yeah, this part is clear, guys. Everybody? Guys, I'm not receiving a response from everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what is next asked is, given the ratio of the present ages to that of the the sum of the present ages to the difference. Now, what is the sum of the present ages? What here is the sum? 2x minus 2 plus x would be 3x minus 2. And what would be the difference? 2x minus 2 minus x, that is x minus 2. That is 19. You just have to calculate x, put it in the value and find the answer. What was so difficult in it? I mean, you can, guys can unmute your mics and ask. There's no need to worry about any doubt that is silly. Like I said before.
I'd
Why did you
only
guys? Yeah, go ahead.
read the question. 2x minus 1, only mistake.
Okay, what did you do there?
I write down 2x minus 1.
Acha, okay. So you forgot to put the bracket.
Same was with
Yes.
me.
Okay.
Actually,
Now that's the very silly mistake, I would say. I don't have unfortunately a pill to swallow for so that you can get that part correct.
yeah, even though I'm getting answer in negative, that's why I'm thinking
Yeah,
I had
that's why
to
you
something wrong.
Otherwise, whatever method I have showed here on the screen, is that the same method you used?
Mm.
Anybody, guys, did you stuck? You got stuck anywhere else?
Casey, I have a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so in these age kind of problems, the issue that I face always is, for example, Vipin's present age is twice the age of Kishore 1 year ago. So what do I do is, as you take Kishore's age as x, I also take it. And then what I do is, I subtract 1 then and there itself. I make it x minus 1, which was 1 year ago.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, so I don't know, when I start doing this method, I eventually end up getting confused every time.
1 second. Can you repeat it once again? I just lost you due to connection issue.
Yeah, so what I was saying is, whenever such kind of an age problem comes, what I do is, I go on the timeline basis. For example, here it is given 1 year ago.
Yeah.
So what do I do is, I assume Kishore's age as x, and then I subtract 1 in the very beginning itself.
From whom?
From Kishore.
Kishore or Vipin?
Kishore.
See, one thing, you are misinterpreting the question. Vipin's present age is twice the age of what Kishore was 1 year ago. Are you getting it? Vipin's present age is twice of what Kishore was 1 year ago. There's no two different scenarios of Kishore now and Kishore 1 year ago.
Okay.
So you can state, yeah, the present age of Kishore is this. So 1 year ago, he will be x minus 1. And now Vipin is currently twice of what he was.
Yeah.
If you want that method, yeah, that is fine. Is this what you are trying to say? To say?
Yes,
yeah, that is fine.
I always, assume it x minus 1 or anything I subtracted before itself. and I accordingly allocate the age for the other person.
Okay, that is fine. Then,
I don't know, but then if we go with this approach that
Hmm?
you just said, eventually I end up getting confused always. I don't know why.
what's confusing now? You got this part right, right? 2
Yeah,
bracket x minus 1.
yeah,
That's it. Now move along with the question. It is given if the sum of their present ages. Now you have marked here, this is the present, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So what is the sum of
Now,
the present ages?
what he did, maybe it's 2x minus 1 of Vipin's age, and the Kishore age is x minus 1. It took
No,
it like
but
that.
did you do like that?
Yeah,
But why? You yourself made a table and said x is the present age of Kishore, right?
yeah,
So x minus 1 would be 1 year ago. I mean the
yes,
past.
yes, yes,
And 2x minus 1 is the present age of Vipin.
yes.
And I'm asking you to add present ages of both this person.
Okay. Yeah,
I
yeah. Got
mean,
it. Yeah,
what you might have done is you need to present your data properly on the piece of paper you're solving.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anybody else with any doubt? The answer is 19.
Yes, 19.
Unfortunately, nobody got it. The first problem to be so. You will get the value of x as 7 after solving it. And Kishore would be 7 and Vipin would be 2 times 7 minus 1, that is 6. So 12 plus 7 is 19. Yeah, Prerit, the answer is 19. Try to get it in a much quicker way next time.
I took two variables, but what mistake I did it was I wrote it as 2x minus 1 rather than 2 into x minus 1.
So yeah, it is 2 into x minus 1. I mean, you did not take the bracket.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Happens, don't worry. It's the starting point. Silly mistakes happen. I've made mistakes more sillier than this in the CAT exam. So it happens in pressure. We'll do this at the last because there's an important concept going on. This would be your homework, guys. This is a very easy question because this is based on the percentage and we have discussed more than 2-3 questions on percentage. So you can mark this question as homework. I hopefully guess everybody would get this right. For 6th and 7th would be your homework. I will explain the method you use in 7, but 7 would be homework as well. Some easy questions today for homework. Coming on to an interesting concept that I want to discuss regarding the variation, and that is here. Yes. So, the kinetic energy of a body. And first of all, does everyone remember the kinetic energy of formula that you guys might have studied in your 8, 9, 10 standard?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, what was it?
Half
Half
mv square.
mv.
Yeah,
Half
half
mv
mv
square.
square. So what we'll do is now we will derive it based on this question. Don't worry, it is not scientific, no science is involved. But yeah, what we were doing is, as we had studied, A is directly proportional to B, and to remove the proportionality constant, we will have a K there. So this is the approach we'll use. Now, let us see the kinetic energy. Let us depict it as Ke. So the kinetic energy of a body is directly proportional to the square of its speed. So I get kinetic energy of a body is directly proportional to square of speed. This part is clear. When mass is kept constant, so when mass is constant is directly proportional to speed. And in the next line, When the speed is kept constant, it's directly proportional to mass. So when speed is constant, speed square will also be constant. So using these two facts, can we combine and say kinetic energy is directly proportional to the product of mass and speed square? Can I say this part?
Yeah.
For a moment, forget
Yes.
what you had learnt as the formula of kinetic energy. Is this part clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now put the values and calculate the value of K. Your K will come out to be half. And then you can get the answer. Now quickly, take 30 seconds and give me the answer. Hurry up guys, 30 seconds. No, I'm not asking Prerit the value of K, I'm asking the final answer. Ashok, what did not understand correctly?
I mean, I just substituted the mass and speed values, but that is what it is what I didn't understand. Like kinetic energy is directly proportional to m into speed square. So
Yeah.
here the mass is 20 kgs and the speed is 1 meter per second.
Yeah.
So I just substituted those values.
You have to calculate the value of K as well.
Yeah, okay, that's what. Oh, right. Oh, right. Okay.
I mean, I know you guys know the formula half mv square, but what if I give you a formula which you do not know of? Then you will get confused, right?
Yeah.
When I was solving this question first time, my teacher just said me, everybody of you are engineers in the class. Everybody responded yes. So the next part was, so you know kinetic energy is half mv square, solve it and get your answer. That's it, done. Okay guys, I see everybody has solved correctly. Anybody any doubt? The answer is 10 joules. C is the correct option. Anybody any doubt?
Casey, can you explain me how did you get K is directly proportional to m into speed squared?
Okay, all right. Okay, now look here. Here, kinetic energy is directly proportional to speed square when mass is constant.
Yes.
So from here, can I say kinetic energy is equal to some form of K into speed square?
Yes.
Yeah. And the second scenario was, what is it given? Kinetic
Kinet-
energy is directly proportional to mass when speed is constant.
Yes.
Yeah. So can I say kinetic energy is equal to K1? Since the values have changed, the constant will change. Directly proportional to m.
Yes.
So can I say for some kinetic energy, for some value of K, or let's take K2 here because the constant will not be same.
Okay.
It is related to mass as well as product of speed square. The value of
Okay.
K2 might be anything. Can I say this part?
Yes.
Yeah. Now I have to find K2 using the values and I get it half. Anybody any doubt? Okay, we'll move forward. Great. Guys, this is again something similar of the ratio part. Try it. No, don't try it now. Don't try it now. It will be homework for you because this is an easy part. If you have any doubt, just keep it in your mind and post it in the group. I'll be sharing the answers as well. Don't worry. So when I see a question is easier, you will be given it as homework. If I have discussed the theory, if I have not discussed the theory, it will be discussed in the class. Now, this is a moderate question based on the similar concept, but since it's a moderate question, it won't be homework. Try solving this question, 2 minutes. It's basically a moderate question because it is an extension of the concept we used in the half mv square wala question. Two minutes, guys. One more minute. You will find a good chunk of problems in the assignment part, assignment talk. I will be sharing. In that, yeah, there are a good number of questions regarding to wages, especially problems on wages in similar format are quite popular, like a fixed wage and a variable wage. Just one answer till now. Two answers, but both are different. Let's see who gets the correct one. Hurry up, guys. We still have one important concept to discuss. Thirty seconds. Hurry up, guys. Time's up. Ashvik, I'm afraid your answer is not correct. The correct answer is 125. Okay, okay. We'll discuss it. No worries. This is a moderate question. It would require some understanding. Okay. So the key important part is the speed of the locomotive, will denoted by V. So when there are 0 wagons attached, the speed is 40. This part is clear? Now, what is interesting part is whenever a wagon is added, its speed gets reduced. So for reduction, what mathematical symbol do we use? Negative. Because now this will be a fixed part. This will be whatever we have here will be a variable part. Now we'll discuss this part, the reduction of the velocity. So what is the reduction? Now in the reduction part, it is clearly said the speed of the locomotive becomes 34 when 27 wagons are attached. And why? Because the reduction in the speed is directly proportional to the cube root of the wagons. Reduction is directly proportional to the cube root. So can I say this part here is k into cube root of n, where n is the number of wagons. So from 40 to 34, the reduction is 6 is equal to k into cube root of 27, which is 3. So 6 is equal to k into 3. That gives me k ka value 2. Is this part clear, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now what is further asked in the question? How many wagons need to be attached so that it reaches at least 30? It should not below 30, so it should be at max, it should go till 30. So from 40 to 30, how much is the speed drop?
10.
10. Now we have already got our k. Now remember, like we had discussed in the kinetic energy equation, once you get the value of k, it depends on if the situation is changing. But for any fixed situation, the value of k will be constant, right?
Yes.
Half mv square always remains half mv square. It does not become 3/4 or it does not become 1 mv square. So here again, the value of k will remain same. Now, how many wagons need to be attached? Now 10/2 is 5. If you take a cube on both the sides, what will you get? Got it?
Yes, yes.
Everybody? Everybody? Please type in the chat box if you have got it. If you haven't, still please type it. This was an important sum, and you will face quite such similar sums.
Kesari, I have a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we do this in terms of percentage? I tried following that approach. Like what I did was, when 27 wagons are attached, 15% of the speed is getting reduced.
No, it won't work in terms of percentages.
Okay.
The thing is, why it won't, see, there's not the problem in the percentage part. It will unnecessarily complicate it.
Okay. I mean, the reason why I landed up with 64 is that
You are
For-
dealing in percentages, so your answer will come in percentages. Now you will have to take it back to see. What is the cube root of 64 percentage?
4
64 percentage.
64 percentage or 4 percentage.
Why?
64 by 100.
No. 64 by 100. You are taking a cube root of numerator. Take a cube root of denominator now.
Denominator also. Yeah, that is a difficult part.
That's it.
Yeah.
See, don't unnecessarily complicate things. Percentage is a complete different part when you are handling ratios. When you're not handling ratios, if in the question it is not asked use percentages, just don't use percentages. See, there are tools which are important for you. Now, to put a simple nail in the wall, you use a hammer. You won't use a screwdriver there. You will only use a screwdriver when you have a screw. So get which important tool is required at the right moment of time. If you use it at the wrong moment, it will unnecessarily create a complication for you. Anybody has any doubt? Are we clear? All right, great. Now this again, 12th part is the homework because it's exact same. See, you can read in the second line. There's a fixed charge and there's a variable charged. Like how we had seen the fixed here. 40 is the fixed part and the variable part is k into cube root of n. So this will be your homework yet again. So mark it. I will be sharing the answers shortly. You don't need to worry about that. But yes, please go through it, and you will have some similar questions coming up in the homework part as well. The doc that will be shared with you. So yeah. The important motto of the classwork would be so that you cover all the concepts that are required for the homework and no concept should remain. Okay guys, yeah, this would be conceptually a different one. So first I will explain it to you. The price of a fan is twice of that of another fan. So you can consider it similar to an H problem, or you can go by the proportion problem. So if this is 2x, this is x, or better, you can go in 100 like percentages part as Ashik was telling. So yeah, you can go ahead with that part. The price of A is increased by 10%. This becomes 220, and that of B is decreased by 20%. 80. Find the percentage decrease in the sum of prices of the fans. What was initial total sum?
300.
What
Leave
is
0.
final?
0.
Yeah. This was the shortcut I meant to discuss. You can go it in a longer method. Take x, take x. Now add here is 10% of x. So that would be again, it will complicate things. But yeah, you can go with that part. Finally, when you add, you will get almost the same thing. Any doubt in this question? Anybody? Okay. Okay. All right, great. This we have done. Yeah, this part. The number of coins can be divided in the ratio of 13, 14, 15. They can also be divided in the ratio of 9, 10, 11, and 12. If the difference between the greatest part in the two cases is 6, find the number of coins. Now this is, I would say, you have to use variation here. And it's at current level, it's a moderate question, but in CAT, this will be an easy question to be solvable in 30 seconds. Please give it a try. 2 minutes. This will be your last question for the day. Let's see. If you can solve this one, you have mastered variation. This sum is like the combination of all we have learned till now in equations, simple equations, as well as in variation. One more minute, guys. Okay, I have two different answers from people. Let's see who gets it correct. Three answers till now. Hurry up, guys. Okay, four answers till now. Guys, 30 seconds more. All right, guys, time's up. Time's up. Okay, so first of all, I would like to ask, what problem did you face while solving the question? Anybody? Where did you get stuck?
I am not able to go forward. So, I'm
Forward,
not
yeah,
able
I know you're not able to go forward.
I mean, I'm
Where?
not able to even make the equations out of it. Like how to make the
Okay,
equations.
all right. Anybody else?
Not
Did
able
not
to
understand
figure
the
the
question.
whole
Yeah, go
meaning
ahead.
behind the question, Kesari.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you properly.
Actually, I'm unable to figure out the how to go about this question.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Any other doubt? It is a tough question because it's a combination of everything we have discussed till now. That's why, even though I kept it in the middle, I've discussed it in the last. Now you can see what I did is I did not attempt the questions serially. This is because I attempted the questions in the increasing level of difficulty, bearing one question, the previous question. That was the easiest again. But you can see the toughest question is in the middle of the sheet and the easier questions were at the beginning and at the end. So just to give you a suggestion that this is how your mock tests and CAT paper will also be. And this is how you will attempt the papers in rounds 1, round 2. Okay, so moving on to the question. So the number of coins that is divided is in the ratio 13 is to 14 is to 15. Now, can I say A is to B is to C is 13, 14, 15? So can I say A is equal to 13K, B is equal to 14K, C is equal to 15K? When I take the ratio of A, B, C, it will be 13 is to 14 is to 15. Can I say that?
Yes.
Yeah. Because the ratio integrity, I'm keeping it same. I'm not changing that part. The same would go for the second part. This will be 9K1, 10K2, 11K3, and 12K4. Sorry, K1, K1, and K1. The K needs to be same so that we maintain the ratio. This part is clear. Now, what is the sum of this? 42K.
42K.
Yeah. And what is the sum of this?
42.
42K.
42K1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 42K is equal to 42K1. Clearly, K is
Yes.
equal to K1.
Yeah.
Now, if K is equal to K1 and it is given the difference between the greatest part in two cases is 6. What was the biggest part in first case? 15K.
15.
And what is the biggest part in second case?
12.
12K1. Yeah. No, you have to not say 12. It is still K1 or K, whatever you can say, because K is equal to K1 here. So the biggest part in first case is 15K. The biggest part in second case, this is the second case, is 12K. This part is clear?
Yeah.
Everybody? Is this part clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So what is the difference between 15K and 12K? 3K? And that, according to the question, is 6.
6.
Yeah.
So the value of K is 2.
Yeah.
And total number of coins is 42K. So the total value of coins is
84.
84.
That's it. You have got it then. The number of coins is 84. So everybody who did not get 84, I can see lot 2-3 of you had 84 as the answer. Great. But some of you had given the wrong answer. I hope now this part is clear. This consists of equations. This consists of variation. This consists of ratio, everything. Not exactly variation, yeah, but more of representation format.
Okay,
This
sir,
part is clear, guys? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if everyone are facing the same problem, but what I feel is, so whenever it's not about only this problem, even if it is some other problem also, I don't know why I'm thinking everything in a complicated way and making things complicated.
It happens. It happens. What
So
did you use percentages again?
no, but not with this, but the other problems also. When you're solving it is being very simple and easy, straightforward, but I am going through around the nose. So what do you think should be the best practice to avoid such things?
Revise the class notes 2 times, 3 times.
Okay.
Look at the recordings 2 times, 3 times. Doesn't matter. Once you get the hang of, see, I'll tell you a simple thing. If I tell you to run, you will run like a normal, whatever way you have run from your childhood, right? But when you go to any athletics coach and run in front of him, he will point out various mistakes in your approach, because athletics, a sprinter, they have a particular format or particular way in terms of basics how they run. So it's like you are experiencing something quite similar. I'm not telling you whatever you have been doing from whatever habits you have inculcated through whatever methods, it is wrong. No, it is not wrong. The only thing is, for cat, having a particular set of habits in terms of thinking would benefit you. That's it. I'm sure whatever way you're thinking is, you're not complicating it. The only thing is, it will take you more time. If I give you a calculator, if I give you sufficient amount of time, whatever method you use, you will still come up with the answer. But if you use certain specific methods for certain specific questions, you will get the hang of it and you will be able to solve it faster as well. Yeah, initially it might happen to some of you guys. So it would be better that you revise the entire session or the types of problems. What you do is, now when you the session is ended and when you get hold of the recording, what you do is you start the recording and you solve the questions again. Now, like I said, I give 2 minutes, 3 minutes in the session. So when you look at this recording, you will get those 2-3 minutes again. So now try to see, was I able to solve in those 2 minutes the question again, which I was not able to solve before. If you can solve it in those 2 minutes, you can clearly see the difference between it.
We are not getting the recordings. Like I needed that.
Okay, you will get the recordings. Don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
They are on YouTube. You can watch it.
Kesari, I just had a small doubt.
Yeah.
Like in this last question that we just solved, we first considered the k values to be k and k1, right?
Yeah, we see, since there are two different scenarios, this is scenario 1, this is scenario 2.
True.
So here we considered k, here we considered k1.
True. So, but then ultimately, when we were trying to solve at the end, we just equated both. Okay, wait. I think it's because of the equation
because
k.
the number of coins is same.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it.
It's not like I'm adding and subtracting 2 coins from the same scenarios. I'm using the same purse in which all the coins are stored.
Got it. Yeah.
Anybody else? Any doubt? Any doubt, guys? No doubts?
No.
Okay. All right then.
Yeah. I need to ask that there will be more algebra classes.
Yes, there will be more. See,
topics.
What do you think? Today's class was algebra or not?
Yeah, it was like related to equations.
See, the thing is, exactly algebra is not the thing that is covered in CAT, but you will get many such things, because what will happen is, even in DILR, when I start some DILR, you will face some problems of algebra also there. When I start some part on basics, that is special equations, would be a kind of thing which will come in some classes of yours. Some parts of algebra will also be covered there. Why I'm covering it in this format and not like you might have covered in your 11th or 12th standard as in algebra 1, geometry 1, is because this is I would say different approach oriented method, and not just one algebra, so start everything algebra. That's it.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about that this algebra thing is missed, or I haven't taught you something which is important. Everything is there. It will be taught to you. It is important. If you still want something on it, what you can do is, when we'll have the session after doubt solving one on weekend for an hour, you can ask me a certain question if you need one. I'll provide you the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, then. See you for the day. And we'll meet next time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.